Well, hi, boys and girls. It's Mr. Presley here at Frylands Elementary School. I've got my friend Franklin here. Franklin and I were just hanging out together, and what we love to do when we're hanging out is read books together. So Franklin read me a book earlier today, so I'm going to read a book to Franklin today. Franklin, I think you'll really like this book. I think the kids will too. So I'm going to have you sit over there so you can see the book, and then we'll read it together. Okay? Sound good? All right. Franklin, I'm going to put you right there so you can see really good. Look at the book I brought today, Franklin. It's called Trombone Shorty. It's by Trombone Shorty Andrews. Whoa, sounds like it's about the author. It's by Trombone Shorty Andrews, illustrated by Caldecott Honor winner Brian Collier. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it has a couple medals on it. Look, it's got a Caldecott medal that's for illustrations, like drawings. And then it also has it's the winner of the Coretta Scott King Award for Nonviolent Social Change. So that's kind of cool. So this is called Trombone Shorty. Look, is that an adult or is that a kid? What do you think, Franklin? Let's get started. This is called Trombone Shorty. Ooh, I love the title page there. Trombone Shorty. Words by Trombone Shorty Andrews. Where you at? Where you at? We have our own way of living down here in New Orleans and our own way of talking too. And that's what we like to say when we want to tell a friend hello. So, where you at? Lots of kids have nicknames, but I want to tell you the story of how I got my name, how I got mine. Just like when you listen to your favorite song, let's start at the beginning because that is a story about music. I love that look from his trombone. Look at it's coming out like that. That looks cool. But before you can understand how much music means to me, you have to know how important it is to my hometown. My greatest inspiration, I grew up in a neighborhood in New Orleans called Trombone. Any time of day or night, you could hear music floating in the air. Wow, can you imagine in your neighborhood if you could always hear music floating in the air outside? And there was music in my house too. My big brother James played the trumpet so loud you could hear him halfway across the town. He was the leader of his own band, and my friends and I would pretend to be in the band too. Look at him pretending over here to be in the van. Follow me, James would say. There's one time every year that's more exciting than any other, Mardi Gras. Parades fill the streets and beaded necklaces are thrown through the air in the crowd. I love the brass bands with their own trumpets, trombones, saxophones, and the biggest brass instrument of them all, the tuba, which rested over the musician's head like an elephant's trunk. Like the description they gave, don't you, Franklin? That's pretty cool. Where you at? The musicians would call. Look at all the musicians. Here's the tuba back over here. Let me get this so you can see it better. All day long, I could see brass bands parade by my house while my neighbors danced along. I love these parades during Mardi Gras because they made everyone forget about all their troubles for a little while. People didn't have a lot of money in Trombone, but we always had a lot of music. Look at that. Notice how they used some real pictures with the drawings. I listened to all of these sounds and mixed them together just like we make our food. We make one big pot and throw in sausage, crab, shrimp, chicken, vegetables, rice, whatever's in the kitchen, and stir it all together and let it cook. When it's done, it's the most delicious taste you've ever tried. We call it gumbo, and that's what I wanted my music to sound like. Different styles combined to create my own musical gumbo. Gives you a good picture, huh, of what you're thinking. But first, I needed an instrument. The great thing about music is that you don't even need a real instrument to play. Did you ever think of that, boys and girls? Let's read that again. But first I needed an instrument. But the great thing about music is that you don't even need a real instrument to play. So my friends and I decided to make our own. Look at that. We might have sounded different from the real brass bands, but we felt like the greatest musicians of Treme. We were making music, and that's all that mattered. Then one day I found a broken trombone that looked too beaten up to make music anymore. It didn't sound perfect, but finally, with a real instrument in my hands, I was ready to play. So look at that, he found a trombone. It wasn't quite perfect for the sounds, but he kept it anyway, huh? The next time the parade went by my house, I grabbed that trombone and I headed out into the street. My brother James noticed me playing along and smiled proudly. "Trombone Shorty," he yelled. He called out, because the instrument was twice my size. "Where are you at?" Remember what "where you at" is? It's kind of like, "Hi, how are you, huh? Where are you at?" From that day on, everyone called me Trombone Shorty. I took that trombone everywhere I went and never stopped playing. I was so small that sometimes I fell right over to the ground because it was so heavy. But I always got back up and I learned to hold it up high. I listened to my brother play songs over and over, and I taught myself those songs too. I practiced day and night, and sometimes I fell asleep with my trombone in my hands. Seems like he found a passion that he liked. Look at that, day and night practicing, even falling asleep with it. One day, my mom surprised me with tickets to the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, the best and biggest music festival in town. We went to see Bo Diddley, who my mom said was one of the most important musicians of the time. As I watched him on stage, I raised my trombone to my lips and started to play along. He stopped his band in the middle of the song and asked the crowd, "Who's that playing out there?" What's going to happen next, I wonder? Everyone started pointing, but Bo Diddley couldn't see me because I was the smallest one in the place. So my mom held me up in the air and said, "That's my son, Trombone Shorty." "Well, Trombone Shorty, come on up here," Bo Diddley said. Wow, how exciting. He's at the Jazz and Heritage Festival in New Orleans, and Bo Diddley, one of the most famous musicians, asked him to come up there. Wow, what a moment in his life. That is so cool. Look what I see. Do you guys see something? I see the front cover now on this page. Look at that. The crowd passed me overhead until I was standing on the stage next to Bo Diddley. I walked right up to the microphone and held my trombone up high in the air, ready to blow. "What do you want to play?" Bo Diddley asked. "Follow me," I said. Wow, what a lot of courage. Trombone Shorty has a lot of courage. Look at that, and there's Bo Diddley, and there's all the crowd. What an exciting moment. After I played with Bo Diddley, I knew I was ready to have my own band. I got my friends together and we called ourselves the 5 o'clock band because that was the time we went out to play each day after finishing our homework. Do you notice that school and homework are important to him, right? So his band was called the 5 o'clock band because that's when he could go out after getting his schoolwork done. He could go out and play his music with his band. That's pretty cool. We played all around New Orleans. I practiced and practiced, and soon my brother James asked me to join his band. When people wondered who the kid in his band was, he'd probably say, "That's my little brother, Trombone Shorty. Where he at?" And now I have my own band called Trombone Shorty and the Orleans Avenue, named after a street in Treme. I've played all around the world, but I always come back to New Orleans. And when I'm home, I make sure to keep my eyes on the younger musicians in town and help them out, just like my brother did for me. Look at that, he's traveled all over the world to play music. Today, I play at the same New Orleans Jazz Festival where I once played with Bo Diddley. And when the performance ends, I lead a parade of musicians around, just like I used to do in the streets of Treme with my friends. Where are you at? Where are you at? I still keep my trombone in my hands, and I will never let it go. Look at now. He's not a kid anymore, is he? He's a grown man. Still doing a lot of the same things though, huh? Notice that? Wow. And then that is the end of the story. This is an author note page, and you can actually see real pictures. His name is Troy Andrews. They call him Trombone Shorty. Here's Troy Andrews parading through Treme as a kid. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And then here he is with Bo Diddley. Whoa, that's cool, the actual picture of him. Look how big that trombone is that he's playing. That is so cool. Look at that, author's note. I'd like to say that the city of New Orleans raised me. In Treme, music was everywhere, from church to street to my very own house. My grandfather, Jesse Hill, was a musician, and my brother James was a musician, and I wanted to be just like them. There were people always coming and going from my house, but music was the thing we had in common. No matter how tough things got, listening to music always made me feel better. When I was very young, my neighborhood friends and I would pretend that we were like the brass band that would parade down our streets. And because we couldn't afford instruments, we really did make them out of whatever we could find. The box from a 12-pack of soda could be fastened around the neck of a Mardi Gras beads to become a drum. And pencils became drumsticks. I used to hoist an old big-wheeled bicycle over my shoulders and pretend it was a tuba. Empty bottles became horns and wind instruments. Thankfully, I got my first trombone when I was 4 years old. Wow. And by the age of 6, I was leading my own band. The only reason I succeeded as a musician was because I practiced every day. Practicing was easy to do because I loved playing music so much. I knew that if I just kept playing, good things would happen to me. I felt it in my bones. I played around town and with my friends for many years, and together we tried to soak in everything we could about the incredible musical traditions of New Orleans. I felt lucky that the previous generations of New Orleans musicians wanted to share their craft with me. It was my job to carry on this musical heritage. I attended the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts and started to develop my own musical style, that one that paid tribute to New Orleans' own jazz, blues, and gospel, but also mixed in other kinds of music that I loved, like rock and roll, funk, and hip hop. I called it Super Funk Rock. My music caught on and caught the eye of Lenny Kravitz, and at the age of 19, I joined the horn section of his band. This led to performing with other incredible musicians over the years, such as U2, Green Day, Eric Clapton, B.B. King, Prince, and many more. I formed my own band, Trombone Shorty and the Orleans Avenue, and together we've released 3 studio albums and even played at the Grammy Awards. In 2012, I had the honor of performing for President Barack Obama at the White House for a Black History Month celebration. In 2013, I was chosen to play the coveted closing set at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, the same festival where I performed with Bo Diddley when I was a child. As important as it is for me to carry the torch for the music of New Orleans, it's even more important for me to make sure that this tradition continues. In 2010, I launched the Trombone Shorty Foundation and Trombone Shorty Music Academy to make sure that the music and culture of New Orleans stay alive. While I've been fortunate enough to travel the world and share my music, I always return home to New Orleans. Nothing has been more inspiring to me than working with the children there. I wanted to write this book to try to inspire hope in kids who might be growing up under difficult circumstances, but who also have a dream, just like I did. I'm living proof that as long as you work hard, you can make your dreams take flight. Wow, what a great story and a great author note too. And look, here's just acknowledgments for the book, and there's Trombone Shorty today. Again, his name is, remember? His name is Troy Andrews. Troy Andrews. But you can tell, a lot of people call him Trombone Shorty. Very cool. And that's the story for today. Franklin, how did you like it? Pretty cool, huh? Yep. So Trombone Shorty is a cool book. It's in our library, boys and girls. So anytime you want to check out library books from our library, all you have to do is email your teacher, and your teacher will give that information to our library support people, and we will get those books for you, and you can pick them up at the learning material time. So again, Trombone Shorty is a great book. You can pick it up from our library. I hope you enjoyed today's reading. Have a great day.